Hey guys, how's it going? We're back. We're finishing the bumper tire carrier combo because everything got back from powder coat. We're 36-ish hours from Jeep Invasion to when I leave, and I got work tomorrow, so I don't have much time to do this, and I gotta get this done. So I'm trying to bang it out today. Trying. Game 7 for the Bruins is on at like 8 o'clock tonight, and I can't miss that. So crunch time. I feel like I'm on one of those automotive shows where like you get down to the wire. Well, I'm down to the wire. So, but this is what everything came back with. Powder coat's all done. They powder coated the bolts, not the threads for the most part. So this is gonna make my life a little more of a pain in the butt. They went a little ham on the powder coat. They did a good job, but they went a little ham. Okay. So I mean, it's not a perfect match, but if we take this out into the sunlight, like it's close. It's not the same color. By no means is it the same color, but I think for being a tire carrier, it's close enough. So I'm happy with it, and we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna take the spare tire off. I'm gonna take this off, probably mess with some of this wiring, and then we're gonna roll into it. So wish me luck. I hope I can get this done in time. Okay, our next step is to remove the factory tire carrier, and we're going to retain those bolts and use them on our new plate. So let's do it. Alright, now I need to take this off and disconnect this plate. Takes a T25. Alright, for some, I know you can't see this. I'm going to show you. For some really dumb reason, your third brake light, the clip is on the back side of it, so this is facing like that, so you have to get behind it. It's really weird. I got mine. Some people can't get theirs. It's a fact of the matter. It's just bad design. So I'm gonna clean this up real fast, and then we're gonna get into the next step. All right, so our next step is gonna be to take off this plate here, so you can grab it by the wires. I know I've shown this in like 5 different videos at this point. Just pull off carefully, try not to break anything. I broke one last time, so it's really bad. Didn't break anything, so I'll take that as a W. Now, I don't know if you can see this well, we have to remove these vents. There's 2 pins, or push pins, up here. So we're going to take a screwdriver, pry them down, and push out. So that's what I'm going to do next. And you can toss this aside. Alright guys, next we're going to be installing our giant back plate here. This horizontal tab is going to be on the driver's side. This vertical tab is going to be on the passenger side. So we're going to go do that real fast, use the factory hardware. Okay guys, so as you can see, right up next to each other, definitely not the same color. I knew that going into it the second I picked out the color, because for a tire carrier, I wasn't about to go through the trouble of getting it completely matched via powder coat. I had to send stuff off to a lab, pain in the butt. But for this, I feel like with the actual tire carrier portion that you'll see being here, it's gonna be off the body enough where you're not gonna notice it too much. And this color also has a metallic flake in it, so I think it is gonna look good. Well, I guess we'll find out at the end. Let's keep on rolling into it. So these were all 13mm bolts. It's the factory stuff. And then you put the JCR plate on it and you're good to grow. All right, so I've had this bumper on for about a week now. So I have these caps on to make sure that no dirt or dust, because dirt and dust would have gotten in there. I'm gonna take these guys off so we can insert our spindle. I'm gonna need something to pry this off with. I put too much silicone on it, so I'm drilling a hole. What? It's a plastic cap. Now I'm gonna pry it. I'm gonna clean that up real fast. Okay, so our next step is to install our spindle into the hole. You might need a dead blow hammer. I put a lot of RTV. I'm probably gonna need a dead blow hammer. Definitely use a dead blow. You don't want to damage these threads. So. There you go. Easy enough. All right, next we're gonna need this 1 1/8 inch bolt. This is gonna go in the bottom of the spindle. You don't have to do this. I live in New England, so I'm coating this guy in anti-seize to prevent rust. Because, well, quite frankly, New England. And we salt the crud out of our roads. All right, so with the anti-seize put on, I'm gonna try and get this, not get everywhere, because it does. We're gonna take a 1 1/8 inch end wrench, and we're gonna go put this in the spindle. Okay, so it's gonna go right up in there. I'm gonna try and do this so you can all see. So the bolt goes in that hole. JCR has no torque spec on this because you're not going to fit a torque wrench in there. So they just said really tight. So I'm just going to do this and not talk. Okay. I think that's tight enough. This didn't turn. I'm a little bit concerned about that, but if everything still works, everything still works, so send it. Now, we need gloves. Okay. So, now we're gonna be greasing up our bearings. So, no special grease is needed for this. All you need is some any old general purpose, multi-purpose wheel bearing grease. It's gonna work just fine. I just bought this for a couple bucks, so. Just look at it, it's fantastic. Okay, so we got our bearing. We got a glob of grease, and we pretty much just wanna hit this bearing with it at an angle like so. And that's gonna start forcing the grease up into these rollers. This is the first time I've ever done this, so I wouldn't be surprised if I'm doing this not the best, but it'll work. And grease just gets everywhere, so prepare for that. And while you have these gloves all greasy, just go ahead and get some grease on this seal and dust guard, just for good measure. All right, so now we're gonna take one of our bearings and we're gonna put it inside our shield carrier, have someone hold it, actually no, put it down, put it on a towel, put it on a table, put it on something, that way you can protect it. And I'm gonna try and do this so you guys can see. So we're gonna put this bearing in here. All right, so next we're gonna put our dust shield in, and it's gonna sit like so. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a punch and we're gonna hammer that into place so it's nice and even. I'm gonna figure out a way to put the camera so you guys can see this better. But I'm gonna use an Allen wrench because my punches went missing and I don't know where they are. And it's really, really annoying. But we're gonna get this done. We're gonna get done. It's gonna get filmed. I need like a mouth frickin' thing. Okay guys, I got the seal in. It was a pain in the butt because I didn't have a punch. I ended up using a flat blade screwdriver, which worked great after I figured something out that would work for my situation. The thing fell over like 2 times while I was doing it and scuffed up my brand new powder coat, which I was not happy about. And then I eventually had my brother-in-law come and help me hold it off camera because I was mad and throwing hammers, and a whole other story. So now that that's done, we're moving on to the next step. This is also one of those videos where I need 6 hands to do everything, and it's just me, and cameraman isn't here, and I didn't have time to wait for cameraman, so I really apologize for some of these like angles. I'm trying to make it so you guys can see everything. It might not be working out too well, but so what I have to do now is remove the cap to our fulcrum. And when I said my powder coat guys went over the top, this is a brushed aluminum cap. I told them not to powder coat this. They still did it. They did a good job, but I told them not to powder coat this. So that's that. So now we're gonna put the tire carrier actually on the Jeep. I don't think there's a way I can do this so you guys can see it, but I'm pretty much putting the hole through this. Right now, that's it. I'm gonna try and set the camera up with the table a little closer so you guys can see, and that's about it. Now we can go put our next bearing on. Alright, so with our other bearing in, we can go put our washer and our nut back on. Now, I'm pretty sure the proper tool for this is an 1.5" socket. I don't have that. We're gonna use a big wrench, or a big adjustable. Just keep in mind there are threads on the inside of this. So, don't scrape them or anything. Okay, so once this is tightened down, it doesn't have to be crazy tight. We're just kind of getting the bearing play out of it. So once the bearings are seated against the bottom sleeve here, the lip, you should be good to go. Doesn't have to be crazy tight and have a little bit of resistance to opening and closing. So then we're gonna put on our aluminum cap here, and you're gonna want to put anti-seize on this because they're different metals. They're gonna corrode together if you don't, and it's gonna be a pain if you ever have to take it off. So definitely use anti-seize on this cap at a minimum, and don't forget anti-seize gets everywhere when you use it. So with that all anti-seized up, we're gonna go put it on. Oh, and also make sure there's a O-ring on this cap. So we can start this cap by hand, but once it starts getting tight, hold one. That is so, why is it so dark? I hope this whole video hasn't been that dark, you guys. Once you get this cap hand tight, JCR gives you this tool, so you can go ahead and tighten it up the rest of the way. So here's the point where JCR must have known who they were talking to, because they sent me for the Heim joints for this, red ones. So yeah, we're gonna use some more anti-seize really quick. We're gonna anti-seize up these guys. And we have our jam nut and our male and our female Heim joints. So I'm gonna anti-seize up the male Heim joint a good bit. And yeah, this is gonna be a lot of guessing when it comes to how big this has to be. So we're just gonna thread this jam nut on there. Oh, anti-seize gets everywhere. It's gonna get on absolutely everything I own. This is a load of crepe. French crepes. And we're gonna start here because this is as small as this is gonna get. All right, so now we're taking 2 of these misalignment washers, placing them there, and there's gonna be one on the top as well, like so, but we're not gonna put that in there yet. And we're gonna take this Heim joint, and we're gonna place the Heim joint in, and this 1/2-inch bolt. We're gonna put all this together. I'm not gonna do it too much because I'm probably gonna have to resize this. But we're gonna start, we're gonna put the same thing on this side of the carrier right here. This side of the carrier right here. I'm probably gonna have to drill this out too, realistically. And then, yeah, we can connect them. And then we can start test fitting. So I'm gonna drill this out off camera and we're gonna test it and we're gonna see what happens. All right, so now I'm going to install this Delring bushing with 2 bolts, 2 of these bolts, and 2 flange nuts. So I'm going to go right here like so. I'm going to put the bolts through. And you put washers on these bolts as well. And then loosely install your flange nuts. Okay, so I have this Heim here adjusted so in a way it's not bolted down right now, but just so in a way that this metal triangle makes contact with this bushing here about 1/4 of an inch before the door closes. So that way it closes nice, it's firm, and you can kind of pull the tire carrier away, but it takes a lot of force. So that's the way JCR says to do it. And before we completely tighten that Heim down and button everything up on there, I'm actually going to put the weight of the spare on it to see if that affects it. And to do that, we're going to have to set up our lugs. That's the word I was looking for. So, to do that, I need 4 more hands. Down. Okay, so we have this guy here, and this is made to accept any 5-lug Jeep pattern. And we kind of just have to put it down and rotate it until we can see all of our holes through a hole. I think that's it right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna get a marker inside to mark that, and then I can start assembling it. All right, so now we need to measure the tire for height and diameter. So first of all, the diameter, we're gonna measure half of it, and we're right around 18 inches. And then I'm gonna take a broomstick of some sort, and I'm gonna measure down the center here and get that measurement as well. And that's gonna be right around 6.5. Okay, so we have 18 inches and 6.5. So now what I need to do is measure from the bottom of the bumper here up to where 18 inches is, and it looks like I need to use the second to last hole to be able to give it some clearance, so I might go a little above that. So second to last hole. So now we're going to take nuts or bolts and washers and one shy at the top. And we're going to use the flange nuts provided on the back, which my powder coat guys powder coated, because why wouldn't you powder coat flange nuts? Which makes total freaking sense. Alright, so now we're provided with 2 carriage bolts that are going to go in here. Come on.
I've been keeping myself so busy, pushing out the misery, trying to find a
Alright, so I have this all mocked up right now. So we have this to about 6 1/4. We were about 6 1/2, 7. So that should be right where we want it to be, so the tire can be pressed up against it all nice. Alright, so now that we have these bolts sort of started in here, JCR gave us these lug nuts to use. We can put them flat side in. And then what we need to do is tighten these down all the way to suck this bolt in. I'm gonna figure out what size nut this is. So now I'm gonna use this impact to tighten her up. Making this a pain in the butt, so I'm doing a lot of it off camera. But you see the difference here between when it's not in and when it's in? That is a really hot bolt. I put a lot of torque on that. I'm gonna take that off, do the rest of this one off camera, or these 2 off camera, and get back to it.
I've been keeping myself so busy, pushing out the misery, trying to find a piece in me. I wanna find.
As I said, T-minus like, I don't know, 20, like 18 hours till Jeep Invasion. I'll leave at 3 in the morning this morning, or tomorrow morning. I'm tired, right? Crunch time. So, what I did off camera is I adjusted this guy here that you can't really see because the tire's blocking it. That way the tire's making contact with the tire carrier itself, so it rattles less. And I also adjusted this Heim and tightened it down. That way we have a nice, good, and firm motion when shutting the tailgate, and that it's not putting too much strain on the factory tailgate itself. So our next step, we fixed the tail, we fixed that. One of the crimps was bad, it was really annoying. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this. This is our 3rd brake light harness, and we're gonna salvage the wires. So white is power, black is ground, obviously. In JCR's video, the light they give you is reversed because the trailer LED. Well, they gave us a different light than in their video. So in this, we have red for power, so red to red, easy enough. And then this is our ground. They give you this little connector here. And yeah, so that's it grounds to that. You can see the ribbon cable right there grounding it. And yeah, and there's gonna be a little rubber case on here, so we should be good just grounding it to the bolt with the rubber in place. So that's what we're gonna go do, and yeah, that's where I'm at. Thanks guys,
So paranoid, so paranoid, yeah.
Alright, so this is the bracket that's going to hold our 3rd brake light. So we're going to attach this to the bottom of our license plate really fast after I lost just about every single bolt I possibly could have for this. I'm really hoping these things aren't too long. If so, I'm taking a freaking grinder to them. always busts out. Also, bless JCR and their flange nuts. For real. Where's the other one? There it is. There it is!
And this is why we lose.
That didn't happen. Actually, this is why we lose things. Okay. Alright guys, that's all for part 3 of this video, the tire carrier. I'm filming this like a month and a half later because this was prior to Jeep Invasion when all this got installed. I was super aggravated that day and haven't had a lot of motivation recently, along with the whole YouTube thing. I'm starting to get it back with some more projects, but it was tough for a while and I've been trying to keep the weekly uploads. I know I missed 1 week, but I'm trying to get there. I have this part 3's almost done editing now, and then I have a couple more videos I want to make, and I have less install videos coming and a lot of review videos coming, and there's some cool stuff coming to the channel, guys, so please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate it. With that being said, that concludes this video. I hope you guys liked the rear end install. I think it came together really nice looking. I'm a fan, but with that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next one.